Hello everybody, it's Rich 220. Once again, it's a nice day out today, so I figured what better thing to do than sit there and work on the 57 Chevy. First of all, I want to pull down the oil pan, and somebody said don't put any grease on the bearings. Well, that would be okay if they were brand new bearings, but they're not, so I'm going to put a thin layer of it on there so that way I don't have any hang-ups with the engine when it's spinning. And then I'm going to put them back on. I have to torque them to specs. Then I have to put the oil pan back up, bolt it back up, and then I got two long suspension bolts that actually go from the frame rail on the passenger side, and they hold up most of the suspension up underneath the car. Okay, that's where I'm pointing at right here. Most of the other work is done. I do have a couple things, however, that I have to tighten up and adjust. But as you can see here, there's the engine. And everything, for the most part, is back on it except for the exhaust manifolds. Because I want to make sure I tighten down all bolts and they're down to specs before I put them back on. And they're going to need gaskets anyway. And then I'm going to need some rubber engine mounts, because when I lifted this engine up in order to get the rear bolt out on the passenger side, I guess these are long overdue to be replaced. So that's what we're looking at right now. Right now I just want to get up underneath and be done with underneath. If I can get the exhaust manifolds on as far as the pipes go, then great. If not, then, well, then we'll wait. But I'd like to be able to move this car out of the driveway and put it into storage for now, because I don't want it sitting out here for another winter. So folks, that's what's gonna go on today. And I also have Movie Editor now, so guess what, I could pause this and then come back. Watch. There it is. Okay, so I'm back. I don't know what it did, and maybe it cut the film, because this phone is not that new. It's actually very old. So, but that's what we're going to do today. So in the meantime, I'm going to have myself a fresh cup of coffee. I'm going to have myself a smoke, and then I'll be right back out here. And we'll get to work. All right. Back in a couple. Bye. And just like that, folks, I'm back. I have my coffee, and I got my smokes. Okay, so now I'm going to put you in the upper one up here, so that way everybody can see what I'm doing a little better. Okay. I've got to unravel the cord, because otherwise it'll get stuck. All right, now. Sorry, people, I don't have a camera person, so I have to do this on my own. Can't afford one. It's too expensive. But anyway, as you can see, for the most part, the car is all back together, except for a couple of tiny things that need to be done. And I wasn't going to come out here, but I figured, it's a nice day. Let's get something done. I think he actually realized there is mail. Okay, maybe not. Well, I have two things I can use. I think I have it right here. I think it's right where I can reach it too. It sure is. It's right there. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to do some welding work and other stuff, but later on down the road. Right now, my main concern is just getting everything back together, engine compartment wise. Now, if you remember, I had this taken down to the block. A lot of people were telling me that you had to have all new replacement pistons. Not the case. Okay? And I'll tell you why. First of all, when I got the car and I started it, I didn't put any Murphy's, or not Murphy's, what was it, Marvel's Mystery Oil in it. I didn't do any of that stuff. So when I started it up, apparently the metals were already broken down from sitting since 76. And yes, the car has been sitting since 1976. Technically what it was a beat up project car. Door panels on the outside were missing halfway down because of them being rusted off. This fender was rust color. Okay, there was rust spots all over the place. They had Bondo here, there, everywhere. I got it all off and redid the car. There's a couple of things I got to do with this fender here in order to line it up because it's not lined up properly. But I'm also going to be doing the interior, which means I will be redoing the door panels from scratch, front and back. Right now I have the two front ones. The actual boards itself are cut out. They're all ready to go. I just have to actually put the fabric on them and stitch it to it or whatever, staple it or whatever the case may be. Then the headliner. The headliner is a little different because each rod that goes across that holds the headliner in place is a little different in size. They're not the same size. So you have to measure each one. So you have to go from like the front, okay, where the sun visors are, the windshield, and measure the difference between where they are and where the first pole is. And then from the first pole to the second pole, and then from the second pole to the third pole, and so on and so forth. And then you have to cut out your template because there's nothing you could take from this in order to make a template out of it. It's already ripped. It's got holes in it. It's worn out. And then the seats are going to be done next after that. I've already got the bottom bench part inside the house with fabric on it, partially. But the rest of them I'll be doing as well. And that'll include the front seat too. So what turned out to be something like a four-door, I guess they call it a junk car or whatever, or a project car, turned out to be a gold or diamond in the rough because after doing a lot of research on the car, we found that there were parts on this car with numbers that are before the manufacture date of the car. Which means this is a numbers match car. It is not a period correct car. It is not an engine that was put in it in the time period. No. This is the actual numbers match. There's a scale that you can use in order to research this stuff to find out for sure. And that's how I know. Now, the camera's sitting on top of another car right now that I'll be working on next, but that probably won't be started until January because this one needs a lot of work too. I had one of these cars. It was Metal Flake Blue. And I believe it had black interior with a vinyl roof. This car had a vinyl roof too, but I took it off because it was just like starting to rot the rear window frame, and I didn't want that to happen, so I got that out of there. But now it's been sitting, it's got to be worked on. I haven't run it, you know, so then I have a newer car in there, which was my mother's. It's a 2003 PT Cruiser, and that's only got 68,000 miles, but it's been sitting for over 2 years. So I have to do the oil change, check the brakes, make sure everything will run properly. So anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee, and we're going to get at this, okay? All right, I'm going to put this on pause until I come back. I'll be back real soon. All right. Okay, folks, I'm back. So I'm going to get right up on underneath this and get to it. I feel like I'm laying around. first things first, I gotta get the oil pan out before anything else. So, save that over there. Take that. Or is this gonna go over here, maybe? I think that's what it's supposed to go. Pull that out. Get off of there. Did I do this? I can't remember it because it's been a while since I've done it. Someone's got that up there. Okay. Okay, now. Get this out. Should not easy. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting the transmission lines. Keep getting going on the pan. There we go. Okay. What the hell was that in there? Why is there a knob in there? It should not be in the oil pan. What does that do? Like a radio knob. Weird shit. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Oh yeah, I'm gonna take that one. That should be pretty small. Take this out so I can see what the hell size it is. So I got a bunch of them in the back that are loose, and they don't need to be. All right. Okay. Okay, now I gotta find the right socket for this. That down there, because I'm gonna need that. It's not the right size. It's too big. This hose can go over here. This wheel can go over there. Nope, that's not the right size either. Start putting my rags and cloths up here. I don't need them on the intake anymore. Get them out of the way. So I can get something done here. Now, that's the right one, but sixteenths. That's the right one. Okay. Take this one off of here. So I have them both down there if I need them. Oh, must have forever lasting thing or whatever. I'm not seeing nothing, so. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, spider webs. That's to go. Get home elsewhere. Back up underneath here. And then we'll take the ratchet and start tightening things down because they do not need to be loose anymore. Put the oil pump out of the way, and then we can do this. She's on. That's on. Sorry, we're not spinning it to break it now. We're spinning it to put it back on. Cut that mess. I think this one is on backwards, so I think we're going to take this one off. Yep. It's on backwards. What is this? This one's on backwards too, so we want to make sure that these are not on backwards. I think that's going to do is give me a problem. Okay. Now we can put this back all the right way. Yep, that one's on backwards too. You always tell because they give you a hard time going back on. Or upside down, whatever you want to call it. One way or the other, they're not right, so. All I want to do is make sure this thing's working properly. This hat is not staying on my head, so messed up hair or no messed up hair. that off. On the right way. Yep. Okay. Progress. Almost there. Okay. Now the oil pan can go back up. Oh yeah. And this time it's staying on. She's done. Just gotta get the bolts and put them back in. Around the transmission lines. There you go. Back up just to hold it in place while I go and get the bolts. Okay. Sorry. Sorry about the hair, folks. Harder and harder for me to get up from underneath these cars. But let's see. For the most part, all I got to do now is put the oil pan back up in there and bolt it down. And then the two suspension bolts, and maybe I'll put the exhaust manifolds back on, at least on the straight pipes. And let's see, I gotta get the bolts out of here. All right. These are the last two things that are going to go on. Anybody that's ever worked on a 57 Chevy, or if you don't know, if you're going to work on a 57 Chevy, these are the actual bolts that go through the frame rail to the coupling that goes to the suspension for the front. Okay? They look just like that. And they have washers on them and everything, so don't lose them. Everything else in here is radiator, fender, and what the hell else is it? Oil pan. Alright, so got two different types of bolts for the oil pan now. One is, it looks like it's a 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can see that or not. And the other one's real small. So there's 4 of them that are 1/2 inch, and they go on each corner, one on each corner. And then the rest of them fill in the spaces in between. And that's where the small ones go, on both sides. Let's see, there should be, I believe, 8 for each side. 1, 2, 3. And I keep everything in a bag that's disconnected so that way I don't lose anything, because the last thing you want to do is lose any of the original bolts to this car. You want to try and keep everything. So that way it goes back together just as original as it was when you took it apart. That's the whole point behind it. Alright, so we got that. There's 8 there. There's 2 more here. Another one. Supposed to be the even amount on each side. So if it's not 8, then it's 6.